I'm going to try to get to grips with a new development in France, which is being celebrated on the uh, pages of our national newspapers. And this is about French border policing that has made headlines, the decision to harden tactics against so-called taxi boats carrying migrants across the channel. French officers have now been intercepting these inflatable craft in shallow waters, sometimes slashing them with knives as migrants, including children, cling on in waist-deep surf. This is being sold as effective border control, but let's be precise. It's also a dangerous precedent, reminiscent of the notorious prolipsi and choresis strategies, the pushback strategies used in the Aegean by the Greek Navy, certainly since the beginning of the present century. Until recently, French police were generally bound by a rule. Once a boat was in the water, they didn't intervene except to rescue people in distress. This reflected basic maritime law to avoid causing drownings. But under British pressure, France is now altering this doctrine, and officers are being allowed to move up to 300 meters offshore to intercept so-called taxi boats that shuttle migrants from unguarded beaches to open sea. BBC footage this month showed officers wading in with knives to puncture a crowded boat while children screamed. Officials justified it by claiming passengers were in immediate danger, but in truth, it was a proactive sabotage of departure. Downing Street called it a significant moment and congratulated the French for toughening their approach. This change is politically charged. Britain faces record crossings, nearly 20,000 this year already. Keir Starmer's government, under pressure from the right, has vowed to smash the gangs. France, meanwhile, faces its own right-wing surge, and Emmanuel Macron has every incentive to show firmness before domestic critics, and in bilateral negotiations. The logic is simple: cut off the boats before they can get going. But this tactic is fraught with danger. Crowded inflatables are inherently unstable. Slashing them in water, even shallow water, risks panic, injury, drowning. Children caught in the middle can be crushed or lost in the confusion. And when police intervene violently in surf, they turn an already perilous scene into chaos. Moreover, this doesn't address the underlying drivers of migration: conflict, persecution, poverty, family reunification, the promises made, for example, by Britain to Afghans of visas and passports, which have never been forthcoming. Desperate people will keep trying, using ever riskier routes if the familiar ones are shut down. And we should recognize this disturbing precedent. This approach, intercepting and sabotaging boats before they depart or while they're in the water, is not unique. It mirrors Greece's policy of prolipsi and choresis, literally the prevention of departure. On the Evros River and the Aegean Sea, Greek forces have for years carried out violent pushbacks, puncturing dinghies, towing migrants back to Turkish waters, abandoning them on unpowered rafts. These practices have been repeatedly condemned by the Council of Europe, by the UNHCR and human rights monitors for violating the principle of non-refoulement and endangering lives. What France is now proposing and enacting in the Channel is a form of anticipatory pushback designed to stop boats before they cross the legal threshold of international maritime rescue obligations. It may sound technical, it is anything but. It's a rebranding of an illegal, hazardous practice that has caused untold suffering across the Mediterranean, and we need to ask, is this the kind of Europe we want? One that congratulates itself on forcing vulnerable families to wade back to shore in terror. One that closes legal routes for asylum and then criminalizes irregular crossing without offering real alternatives. International law requires safe, dignified processing of asylum claims, not collective punishment of those forced to flee. If we wish to redefine the 1951 Refugee Convention, under which asylum seekers are guaranteed and confirmed a safe passage, then we need to gather together an international conference and get on with doing our job. If the 1951 Refugee Convention is not fit for purpose today, we need to redefine it. France and Britain say they want to break the smugglers' business model. Well, slashing the boats is not breaking the smugglers' business model. That's attacking the migrants as they start their journey. It's breaking the smugglers' business model is a worthy goal, but most migrants don't know who's a smuggler and who is a reliable authority. I promise you, they don't know. And I've had dealings with migrants and lawyers who I've not only seen it at third hand. I've not only seen it happening to other people, it's happened to me too. I've asked for advice and I've been given complete rubbish with a straight face. I've been tricked and I've been cajoled into accepting offers which are simply wrong. Because I'm told this is what you do. This is what you do. Yes, oh, you can do this. Oh, this is okay. And here's a form to fill in. And you fill in the form, and you find you've applied for something completely ridiculous. No, I don't believe the majority of asylum seekers and migrants have any idea who is a trafficker, who is a smuggler, and who is a reliable authority figure. They don't know. And sabotage in shallow water with knives and panic is not a way to legitimize anything. It's further threats and further terror. These people who are on those boats don't know who the authority figures are, and they see someone with a knife. I have nothing but contempt for the French authorities with their knives. This is not legal practice. This is terrorism. You're terrorizing vulnerable individuals who have already been deceived and tricked and tyrannized. And this is a conspiracy of terror put out by France and Britain, and they should know better. It risks lives, it normalizes violence at borders, it replicates the failures of the Aegean. Instead, Europe must confront the root causes of forced migration and provide safe legal routes. If not, the Channel risks becoming yet another graveyard of broken promises and human lives. And it doesn't have to be like that. We can do significantly better than run around the place slashing tires and slashing boats. This is infantile and squalid. And France needs to get its act together and stop behaving like immature twits.